Horror Hour.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
Get you
The dead.
Here's Johnny.
All right. Hello, and welcome to the Horror Hour, place we discuss, we debate, we disagree on all things horror. But today, I'm really excited. We've got the cast, VHS 99 segment, Shredding, and also the writer and director. So before I introduce everyone, because, I'm nervous, but hey, my name's Yutaka. I'm one of the hosts. And so first off, we've got Jessie LaTourette. How are you today?
I'm great. How about you?
Not too bad. It's pretty nice outside. And then we've got Keanush Tafreshi. How are you?
Hey, what's up? Thanks for having me.
No, thanks for joining. And then we have Tybee Diskin.
Hi, how are you? Everyone, it's so nice to see your faces again for the first time since we shot, except for Maggie and Verona. But Jessie and Keanush, I haven't seen you.
And then we have Verona Blue.
Hi, thanks for having me. It's so great to be here.
Thank you for joining. And then we have, as I worry about that falling down, there we go. We have Maggie Levin as well. Hi, good to see you again.
Great to see you. Every time I see you, I bring with me a whole army of people. So I appreciate you having us on for this one, which was just the thrill of a lifetime to make with these people. It's going to just be an hour full of me gushing about how much I love this cast. So I hope everyone's ready to be embarrassed.
Well, I'm just going to go ahead and preface this. We are going to talk spoilers because there are certain scenes I want to break down. And yeah, so first off, since I just want to know from everybody, what is it like now to be part of the VHS, I guess, family? With this being the fifth film. Yeah.
I'll rock that first because I to be asked just to be like invited to the cool kids table of horror, it's a real kind of anointing of horror filmmakers. So it was an honor and a thrill. And also it came with a tremendous amount of creative freedom and the freedom to bring in actors that I knew and loved, and also to find some brand new folks. Three of the actors in front of you right now are folks I worked with before, and Keanush did an incredible audition and slayed as the, you should have been the final boy. I'm feeling more and more regret every day that I killed you.
Yeah, that was brutal.
I really
Pretty
thought you were
rude.
going to survive. I was just like, oh, damn it.
He's the one guy you wanted to make it through for sure.
Oh, absolutely. So what I'd like, and again, so this story I really loved because we had two bands. We had Rack and then we had Bitchcat, which is, I love the name Bitchcat. Where did that come from?
I mean, when you're looking at mid-90s riot girl bands, those two words or iterations of them happen a lot. So, it's you got your kitties. I think there's a number of different bitch or bitch iteration bands. So, it's a hybridized thing. I don't, how does it feel to be the internet's favorite band this week, ladies?
Oh man, it's awesome. I've
It's
always
an
wanted to
honor.
be in a band, and I don't have any of those cool required skills like singing or playing a cool instrument well. So this is great.
Yeah, it's a dream. Anyone being like, Bitch Cat is my new favorite band, I'm like, "Ah," like it's just giving me, it's way too much power. I'm drunk with power, is what I'm trying to say.
So, well, I'll even say, so Maggie knows I'm a big fan of Keeley's music, but I have had that song on repeat because it's just a good like anthem, gets you like pumped. And definitely, again, anytime I talk with people, I get nervous. So I just had that going this morning. I was like, all right, it's a good song. And you guys did a great job with it.
Stay with that song. The day that you guys were filming that, I came in and I thought you guys were playing it because like, you were
Yeah,
doing so, and the song sounded so
Acting.
authentic and so good that I like spent a good hour and a half being like, wow, I'm at a free concert right now until a PA let me down. But
Aw.
because you guys were doing it so well, I was like, this is a concert. I'm letting it be a concert in my mind. And it was great.
I love that so much. What a compliment.
We all had to
amazing.
learn the song, you know, on our various instruments in advance anyway. So although we were playing to a backing track, we were in fact like all out singing and playing along, even though our, you know, stuff wasn't necessarily plugged in. And so
Sure.
for like a week beforehand, every time I was in the car, I was just like, I had the demo version of the song that was like not the finished version that I was just like blaring so that I could like learn it, and then at home like practicing with the bass with the tab, trying to like figure it out. So it's been playing like continuously as my background noise since April. So to finally have like the real version that's like the full version to listen to is also a huge relief for me.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, it
It's been
finally hit
delightful.
Spotify this morning, and I think everyone's been waiting. Now we can attach it to our social medias. You know, it's there. And Rack's song, which is nothing to sneeze at. It's called "We Hate the Same Things." It's also like a lost Blink-182 jam. And to everyone's credit, and it was very important to me that every single actor in this roster know their way around an instrument. If not, I mean, Keanush, I think you're the most, besides Amina, who's not here, the most accomplished like real player. Your live drums, I think the only live instrument in the whole short are your live drums from the colony.
Oh,
actually.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know
Wow.
that. That's cool.
Yeah.
I was actually going to ask how, if you guys played instruments, and if not, how was it getting accustomed to, I guess, you know, appearing that you could perform, or acting in a sense.
Yeah. I mean, for me, like I used to play drums a lot when I was a kid, and then I kind of stopped after a while. And then after like hearing about this audition and booking it, I was like, oh, I got to get my drum skills back. So I just started like going to the rehearsal studio like all month before shooting, like just practicing and working on that, and just like jamming out to like all those 90s hits, you know, like Limp Bizkit, Green Day, Blink-182. So just like getting in there, getting in the swing of it, it was just such a blast, like for working up and showing up on set. And then obviously when we had that amazing song, we got to play it. I honestly thought they were gonna do an edit and put the song over it. So to see them like actually put my performance in there, I was like, oh, okay, cool. So they actually trust me with this to put it in. So it was awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
but-
actually built the guitar, or Keeley, Dresage built the guitar, and I guess there's also Jesse's live Haze, which were just sort of off the cuff. I was like, do something.
I did something.
Yeah.
No, it's funny. I saw Keanush, you were playing drums, and then I was like, I'm gonna play drums.
Oh yeah.
And I started practicing drums. I've been seeing you playing drums because it looks so fun.
I do sing in real life, but I spent like weeks making sure I could match Keeley's performance, because she's
Mhm.
got this like, you know, really wonderful growl, and she has a little bit of a higher voice than I do. So like trying to learn exactly her like cadence
Mhm.
was really fun, and try and like make it physically my own was a cool jam. And then I ended up getting to do some like little tiny background vocals in there with her, which is like a huge honor. So I was really
Yeah,
excited
there's some
about that.
Tybee in there if you listen, which I have been today. I'm also a
That's
big
so
fan
badass.
of bitchcat and Rack, so I'm just playing.
I
the
also
songs
spent
now.
all of after Maggie's Hulu movie, My Valentine, came out, the single from that, I spent like weeks getting ready in the bathroom to The Knife from My Valentine, just an absurd amount of time. It's still in my like, I think it was in like my most played for that year or something on Spotify.
It's
Oh,
full
yeah.
of bops. I mean,
Yeah.
that was that got me through the pandemic, that film and that soundtrack. It was always on repeat. What I'd like to know, I didn't look up folks' ages, and I never want to assume, but I grew up in the 80s and 90s. And so as I watched this, I was like, oh my God, hold up, wait, I know those people. I was those people. So I wanted to know what it was like or if you're not from the 90s, what it was like just kind of living in that era. And if you were, what was it like kind of going back? So I'll start with you, Jesse, and I'll work my way around.
Yeah, the funny thing is I was actually a lead singer in an all-girl punk rock band through middle and high school. So this felt like just hopping in a time machine and going back to my school days, which was incredible. And thanks, Maggie, for letting me do that. It was
Thank you.
yeah, just a little bit of deja vu. And I love getting to revisit something that I still love. Yeah.
That's amazing. And so, Keanush, how about yourself?
Yeah, so I mean, I was born in the 90s, but I wouldn't consider myself a 90s kid. So Maggie was so generous to just send us all this like inspiration stuff. Like she sent us like a playlist with like, I think 50 songs. Just to kind of get the feel for like, what the sound was of that time frame. And then, yeah, just a lot of like research and like looking up like, what kind of the culture was like with like the fashion and the art and the movies and all that kind of stuff happening. So it was definitely like a fun like research project to kind of just like see like what the mentality of like being like a young teen in like that time frame was. So it was fun.
Keanu's also got the honor of wearing the Jankos, which I think were in the script.
Insane.
Oh my God.
Like, as soon as I put those on, I'm like, oh, this is it. Okay, I'm it. I feel it. This was the transformation that needed to happen, was the Jinkos.
You were dressed exactly like my high school boyfriend. Like he had long hair. He was in band. He wore like Jinkos, a wallet chain. It was actually kind of a hot look. I'm still not mad at it. So great.
It was honestly hearing the sound of them sliding across pavement was like acid flashback for me. There's a noise, a sense memory noise.
Oh my God. Tybee, how about yourself on that? So you were familiar with that, those styles?
I was indeed. I do consider myself, I'm 87, so I grew up, I have like an older brother, so I've got a little bit of extra 80s culture for being born so late into the 80s, but I'm, very much a child of the 1990s. Awesome. So I have vivid memories of horrible square neck tank tops and low rise everything that made everybody feel bad about themselves all of the time.
Oh my God. Right. Yes.
It was and like the Matrix trench coat explosion and all of what came after that. So yes, I have many vivid memories that were suddenly unlocked by watching specifically Keanush and Dashel walk off through the set. It was just like, whoa, oh no, what's happening? It's very strange.
And how about you, Verona?
Look at me. I'm still stuck in the 90s.
Love
almost
it.
Everything that I wore as Deirdre were my clothes. The pants, the lace bodysuit, the leather jacket, all of the jewelry. I think only the one red shirt that I'm wearing during the music video and the boots, because I had to match a prop later, were the only things that didn't belong to me. So, yeah, it was fine. It was, it was like living out my best version of my teenage self. It was being like, oh, this was, they say that thing. They're like, be the person that like 15-year-old you like would want you to be. It's like, oh yeah, no, I'm still doing that. We never moved on. We're still firmly there. It's great. I'm a big fan of it.
Well, I love that era as well, because that I grew up, so I especially missed the music. So I really enjoyed that you guys, again, punk pop or just the music was great. But I wanted to also know on the set, because one of my favorite things about VHSs, which I will say before this, I was not a huge found footage fan. But with the VHS series, I just love seeing all the talent that's brought in, whether it's new talent or established talent, and they get to tell these stories. So what was it like being on set, especially during some of the, I guess you would say, terror sequences, because those were some of my favorite.
I really feel like it was such a quick shoot, and there was so much. We traversed a lot of different spaces. And then I mean, I guess I shouldn't talk about what it was like to be murdered or do murdering. You guys should talk about it.
Yeah,
I had a great time.
You were there. I would just say I love the part where I was running in the hallway from the ghouls at the end. I pointed, I was like, stop it. Stop facing me. Because I would do that.
I was thinking the entire, I'm like, that's not gonna work, but if it did, great. But I keep running. How did you like getting disemboweled and then all the other fun stuff?
Yeah. I wasn't there for that filming part. So when I watched it, when it came up on Shudder, I was like, oh, that's my foot, that's my arm, that's my whole chest just getting chucked at a wall. So yeah, it was great. What fun. I was a fan.
Yeah, it was a blast. I gotta preface by saying, like, I am like the biggest scaredy cat ever. So like I usually never watch horror films. So like the fact that like I was gonna be a part of this, I was like, okay, this should be pretty easy for me to sink into because I'm pretty scared of a lot of things. So I just remember when we had that scene where I'm in the corner and then Tybee comes in with the camera. I was like, the makeup, the lighting, all of that was just really easy for me to play off of. So just like that entire tone and everything, it was it was pretty easy to react off what they were giving me, to say the least.
That was my favorite scene to shoot that day, just because I didn't know they were going to hand me a camera, and my character doesn't have eyes. So Chunu, our DP, walks up and he's like, "You're gonna hold this. Here's the viewfinder." And I was like, "Brother, I don't have any eyes. I got no fucking eyes." So and I could see the best of all of the boot cats because I didn't have any eyes. They all had like at least one eye blocking some vision. So I was often like leading people through the darkness, like I'm the front zombie. But I just remember having to like listen, and try and like make sure I panned over to Keanush and like really spike him on the camera. And every time he was just like fully in it. And I remember really distinctly that we finished shooting that scene and he walked out into the like kind of holding area. And I was like, "Hey man, you got any aftercare planned for this situation? You've been crying for like 5 hours." Because you were still sort of like, it's just like,
I was shaking, man.
Yeah, you were in it for a long time. I was like concerned.
Yeah, and you were like fully there between takes. I was so impressed with the way that you and a lot of your cohorts, once we were doing the stuff in the colony, you guys were really staying in character, and that's why so much. I've never shot anything that has this amount of individual improv. Like there are full sequences that are not scripted. Normally, I'm pretty married to what I wrote, and that it has everything to do with how prepared everybody came and how hard everyone went, and how the thoroughness with which every member of this cast really understood who they were. It all felt so deeply authentic, or gothentic, to steal Verona's word. Yeah, I'm sorry I cut you off, Keanush. You should continue.
Oh yeah, that was it. And thanks for saying all that. I mean, it was just like, I think we had something really special on set with everybody that was involved. I mean, even just with like, all of our rack members, like we just kind of had that backstory already there, and like the freedom to improvise and just go off, what we believe like our thoughts and our characters were. Like that was just giving us the freedom to do that, like allowed us to really have a fun time with it.
That's insane. So
Verona's face melting, we should talk about.
Okay.
And we should talk about Meet Kids, because we have not I have done no press about what that was like, and that was such a big thing. But yeah, the head melt, Deirdre's head melting, it's one of my favorite things.
It's like such a weird experience to be like a Bahoot cat, because like the rack kids are like legit in this terrifying basement, like really acting their hearts out with like their full chest, like completely terrified. And like Tybee said, like I can't see shit. I have like little tiny peripheral vision. We're covered in this like goop, so everything feels a little bit gross and weird. And so it's this, and I do creature acting. So like it's a combination of me like mentally, technically trying to figure out like what does this look like, and then also not like walk into something because it's dark. I have no vision. And then also try to interact with like Keanush, who's really acting like he's very scared. And so I'm like cheating to the camera, being a creepy monster, also acting. It was such a weird experience. It was like very technical on my end, like almost comical, where I was like, oh, this is just an exercise in being scary for somebody else's, like performative scary for somebody else. And then we get to the head melt, which is also incredibly technical. So the Bahoot cats were wearing, like we're all made up with makeup on our bodies, but our faces were like head cast masks. So they kind of came on and off, and the hair was like in them and everything. I mean, it's not CG; they're full on masks. They were wild. And
Love that.
when Deirdre's head melts, they had a head melting mask. So it was a different mask that had all of these like tubes that went into the side, and then they're behind me, which you can't see, obviously, is a whole team of special effects makeup artists, just a bunch of them.
I'm gonna pull up a picture of that team
with tubes in their mouths, ready for action. And then Maggie calls action, and there's some, I don't know, it's like a middle school volcano. There's vinegar,
it's like
baking soda
yeah,
in there, and they start just blowing it in, and it's rushing past my face and then like out. And I just did not know what it was going to feel like. Yeah, like that's the whole team behind me while I'm on all fours. And so I don't know, like, is it going to burn my eyes? Where is it going to go in my mouth? I have no idea. And as soon as it became clear to me that it was not going to affect my face at all, I just started making like the weirdest, screechy, muppety death cry.
The worst.
Yeah.
You've ever heard. It was so weird. I think they made maybe
she said, you said to me, because we had 3 cameras on you. I was running the 16 millimeter camera. Chunu was running our B cam, the Sony VX1000. And then our first AC was running the modern camera, because we could only do it once, right? You can only melt one head on your very short shoot day. And you were like, can I make noise? I was like, please. And the noise she made is one of my favorites. It's like a Muppet dying. And there's some great BTS footage that I will release at some point of us of Keeley, the editor, Andy Holton, and myself in our final mix, looping Verona's
it's the remix, the dance remix.
Yes.
Another one.
Now that's what I call Muppet death.
I'll say I was okay that you died, because again, I wanted Ankur to live. I mean, I was like,
and he was right, he was right all along. I know it's only because it's a VHS movie that I was like, if he lives, I feel that there's a precedent of, I'm setting a poor precedent for the series, which is that it's kind and we let people live. It's generally not a VHS vibe.
I think it was a cool choice too, that like we just had that like, that zoom in and then the static and all that, instead of actually seeing him get like, dismembered and whatnot. So like it was leaving the audience wondering if he was gonna get out of it, It
was a nice death in terms of, I was like, oh, at least I didn't have to see him like really gutted and rotted. Because I loved that mythology that your character had, and just the way you played it off. And yes, you were right all along. They should have been listening.
Should have listened, man.
Yeah. I've been in with a bad crowd a number of times in my life, and I've been the small voice of reason against some bad folks, but not enough for me to exit the situation. So I'm definitely also like making a note to myself personally of like, get the fuck out when you know something's wrong. And it's not his fault that he can't get out. That place is like a total maze.
I mean, yes. Now I remember too. What I wanted to know as well, and was this the was that the name of the dummies, or like when you guys were jumping up and down on the dummies, what were you? I mean, you guys look like you had fun. That I was cracking up.
Yeah, for one, I don't know how Jackson like did it so successfully. Those were actually really hard to pop. I put my whole weight on it numerous times and it was like smiling up at me. It was haunting. It made me so angry. No, it was really it was disturbing. It was disturbing. And it really made me honestly like get more into character. I was like, wow, this is a teenage dirtbag,
Yes.
you know, which was great. Very slimy. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a real messy day.
Mhm.
I remember seeing that for the first time and being like, I'm offended by this. Like, how dare you do this to my body, my fake body? Just jump on me and I'm full of jello. Like the part where there's like the little Barbie dolls and they make them like, somebody makes like weird noises. I was like,
Jackson.
I felt like a little
Jackson,
pearl
man.
clutchy about it. I was like, how?
He was just so like it was so fun working with Jackson. I wish he was here right now, but he really sunk into that, that bully type, and like there was so many people like that, I'm sure, like I had friends like that at one point, like they have the love for you, but they just say the most out of pocket shit,
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
really good at playing that asshole,
Yeah.
He's also the sweetest person. So
Yeah.
it was of the transformations. There are a lot of transformations in this. I mean, but also Jesse too. Like you're both so nice. So to give you this avenue to just act like the worst people. I mean, it was also scripted to be that. I think I wrote in the opening description of like these kids are like this and they are also palpably the worst. So now that we're getting internet feedback being like, oh, I hate them, I'm like, yes, you got it, I'm also sorry.
No, that's why it's so great coming back again. I think this is like the third thing that you brought me back for, and every time I'm like, no one else is letting me do this, no one else is letting me play these characters. What is this, the worst kids ever? Let's do it. Great every time.
Yeah.
I am curious then, because like with the tone of the film and everything, what did you guys do to kind of decompress? Because again, there were as we were saying, Keanush, you were in that one scene where you were just being terrified the entire time, and I'm just curious as to everybody, like what did they do when they left set?
Yeah. Well,
Shower.
Yeah, shower. For sure. No, yeah, my car died in the middle of this. So honestly, right after filming every day, I was in my friend's like race car, and that brought me right out. I was like, ooh, what a smooth drive. And the character was gone. It's great.
I got home and my key to my car broke off in my ignition the second I parked it home, and I was like,
Boy, people had some terrible luck.
What do I do? Yeah, like it was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. But we didn't have to do as much decompressing. There was the makeup for the boots did take a really long time to get off.
Oh God.
I don't know. I have like special skin. It was hard to get off. I don't know.
No.
No, it was
took a
getting
little
that
while.
stuff off was like, it was adhered. It was like gelatin and paint
Yeah.
and
It
cotton
was like
balls.
glue, cotton
It was
balls,
glued
gelatin.
to your skin. And so they did a lot of like, the makeup people were like trying to gently, and I was like, fuck this. And I just like ripped the huge chunks of it. They're like, don't, right? Because you actually do take your skin with you when you do that. But I was like, I gotta get this. This feels gross. It's midnight. I want to, and so I got like most of it off. I get home, I get in the shower, and you're using hot water to try to like melt the glue and the gelatin for like 3 fucking days. It was just like, oh, there's still a film. There's still a really gross, disgusting, body brush to within an inch of your life. And then also I had maybe an entire bottle of hairspray in my hair every single day. And it's a spray adhesive. It's not hairspray. It's literally called spray adhesive. So it's just glue. It's just glue. And so trying to save my hair in the shower was also challenging.
Everyone's really suffering for their art. Thank you.
It turned
Oh,
out great
man.
though, everyone. Let's
Yeah.
just put it out there. I mean, also to be the opening segment, it really in my audience, that really pumped up the crowd.
Oh, that's great. You went to Brooklyn, right? The Brooklyn
Yes.
screening? Yeah.
Where there were like 3 hot properties and VHS 99 was one of them, to where they're like, we need to have a second screening because we sold out. So
Cool.
yeah, like everyone was just having a good time. I'm wondering if any of you have seen any of the other segments, and if you have, were there any moments that might have made you jump?
I really loved the suicide bid segment.
Mhm.
I think it had a really nice balance of like, like that feeling of claustrophobia, and like I was like hyperventilating watching it when she was in that coffin, and then yeah, like that nice little jump scare too. Like I like that. And now like I said I'm not like the biggest horror fan, but I could see how like that starts to become like an addicting thing for people, where like you get exposed to that first like feeling of being scared, and you're like, oh, that was kind of fun. I kind of want more of that.
Also, I gotta tell you, once you've done one, because I took a long hiatus from watching horror myself.
Mhm.
Other than like creature horror, I've always been, if there's a vampire in it, I'm there. But it really making horror movies, it's an exposure therapy thing. So I bet if you try over the next couple of years, Keanush, you'll be like, well, I can envision the team of 6 people behind this person
Yeah,
pumping
sure.
blood through syringes.
I'm currently doing that
exploding stomach.
right now. I'm trying to do it because I was like, well, if Maggie's gonna be making them fucking horror films, I guess I gotta get used to watching fucking horror films. So I just went ahead and was like, all right, let's do it. And so my boyfriend and I have been watching a copious amount of horror films this month.
What's the last horror film you watched?
Ooh, what did I just watch? Oh, we watched Rosemary's Baby and then the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Doing classics.
Yeah,
Heck yeah.
we went back a little farther. We did Hellraiser, Green Room, Rosemary's Baby, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre in like 48 hours.
Green Room is
like,
an all-time fave.
Man, it's so good.
Yeah. I mean, you
so
can
good.
tell from what I make that Green Room is an all-time fave.
Yeah. But, I mean, my boyfriend was like sweet about it. He was like, I'm Jewish. He was like, are you prepared to watch a skinhead movie? And I was like, I got the juice today. I can do it. So yeah, we watched that. I loved it. I thought it was great.
Oh man, this is also such a good, I gotta say that 2022 is such a good vintage for horror. I mean, it has been a year of extraordinary films, and I think one that we'll reflect on for a long time as being like a golden age for horror. I mean, you can make a top 10 list and still have room to go. So it's also really special to be putting out horror in this year in particular.
This is one, I know we all say it, that, oh, this is like the best year. This truly has had so much, not only big budget successes, but also indie successes. Yeah. And it's just so awesome to see a new talent arising. And so I am just a fan, and my top 10's always changing. I am curious about everybody else then, if you enjoy horror films. I think Jesse and Verona.
I used to watch a ton of like specifically Asian horror. I used to watch like a ton of Korean horror and Japanese horror, just like all the Ichi the Killers, all the like blood fountain, like over the top nonsense, and then I moved from those into the like fuck you up for life, old boys type of audition, psychological horror stuff. And then we hit this point where like every new horror movie was a hostile type of torture porn. And my brain was like, uh-oh, nope. And like that thing that Keanush said about like that thrill of the adrenaline of like the scare, like for me is not in those. I'm like so panicked the whole time. And I know that they're actors. Like I know there's, I can't do it. I can't watch a Truth or Dare. I can't do it.
Oh, wow.
So I had to like take a horror break because I was like, this is not for me. It needs to be more big or more like cerebral, but this like just taking people and making them sob on camera, I couldn't do it. So I took a break, but now, you know, with like Parasite and obviously The Black Phone and all of these movies coming out that like are a little bit more, they have like more tension in them, a little more like thriller feel. I can ease back into horror. And the thing about VHS that's great is like, if the segment's not for you, it's only 20 minutes long. You'll see the next one, you know? And like you said, every director has their own idea of what found footage can look like. And so there's going to be something for everyone. And I think like now that I'm in VHS, I sort of appreciate the process for all of these different creatives for each one, looking back at the previous, you know, VHS and how they got there. And like, really the limits that you are working in budget wise and time wise, and then the incredible work they put out. So I'm settling back into it a little bit.
It's kind of a time crunch because the shoot's not very long, I didn't think.
No, I think no one had longer than 5 days of actual filming time. I mean, my team, a lot of my team from making short content and things for like Go 90 platforms and things like that came along with me on this, and that was, we were used to the run and gun pace of it, but you know, it speaks to everybody's incredible ability that we could all show up, get that amount of creature effect stunt work done every day. I mean, it's hard to get one big blood effect done, and Patrick McGee and his team cranked out a zillion. You know, it's stacked. And I do want to make sure that we talk about Meet Kids at some point, but Jesse, we will talk about favorite horror movies.
Yes, I do. And also I want to say Patrick McGee owns my heart with a lot of his practical effects. They are incredible.
Well, the creator of Ratma, you know, like
I know, like and I do want to call out, you said V8 or Black Phone. There's somebody who puts the film on VHS, and I have a VHS copy of Black Phone behind me.
No way. Oh, the Katie video. I actually have in front of me the Katie video for VHS 99 because she just
I
sent
think
it to
that's
me.
sold out. Oh, I need to check if it didn't. Yeah, no.
I can talk to her. I got the hookup.
I have that, and then also because in the film, Tales from the Stitch had the Hail Ratma or the Ratma monster. So I had them do a custom grabber as well. So I have the grabber behind me. I really enjoyed the Black Phone, and I can understand because I'll be honest, I'm a gore hound. I love lots of gore. So like Terrifier 2, that's my jam. But I do love films that just creep you out, get under your skin, unsettle you, but then still add those bits of comedy to kind of just make you feel like you get comfortable and then take you back into more dread. So, and the Black Phone and several releases this year have done that. But
I will thank you on behalf of the Black Phone family. Thank you so much. It's been, you know, what a joy this year has been for me and the husband touring around. It's been awesome, and all the love for it, and all of these great young actors. You know, really working with
too good, better than I'll ever be in my entire life. Upsetting.
But I'm talking about I'm not talking about bitchcat. You guys are my age, but I'm talking about Rack as well. You guys are great. I'm just saying, like, the young talent out there, holy moly.
It's great to see new fresh faces because we need it, because they can bring some new stories and just new styles. So I love it.
Yeah,
truly.
It also feels like indoctrinating it, you know, come over to the dark side. Oh man, Jesse, I keep stepping on the
Jesse,
horror
what's your
question?
Yeah, you know, I'm actually really scared of horror. However, I do really love psychological thrillers like Midsummer, Parasite. That stuff will get me every time. I don't know what it is.
Midsummer.
When the flowers are so good.
They're on the trip.
Like, I can't handle horror. Just
no. You put like Saw in front of me, and I think when I was filming another film in Atlanta, like we went to all go see It Chapter 1, and I couldn't handle it. But you put me in front of Midsummer, and I'm like this close to the TV, like watching.
I don't know.
That's fascinating. I'm
You
like
know?
that. Like, I can't do anything that's got distorted human faces. Like, there will be no Exorcist. There will be no The Ring. That will not be
Aw.
happening. I just watched The Conjuring and I was like, ooh, I'm on the edge of ever being able to watch this again. But like, I really enjoyed Barbarian. I had a great time. So I don't know. I
that
don't know
was a
what
good
my
one.
fucking problem is what I'm trying to tell you.
You should not do. We've talked about this, but you should not see Smile. In that
Oh, I
case.
won't be. I won't be.
Yeah. I mean, look, the reason I love horror, I think, comedy and drama film, I love cinema in general, but I think horror allows you to kind of go to these like fantastical realms to sometimes talk or tackle tough topics in a way that can help people understand or better appreciate, especially I think in terms when it comes to mental health and just other aspects of that. So I love horror. It's my go-to. But sometimes I do love a good scare. And I would say I would have to say, besides the Black Phone, Hellraiser gave me chills because it brought me back to the 80s and made me realize why I love that series so much. So
It's beautiful. The creatures are the Cenobites are so beautiful in this version. I mean, it's a weird thing to say. There's a lot of things I've said on this press tour that are really weird. I'm like, I said to Johannes, I was like, oh my gosh, that mausoleum you were in was so pretty. Like, what's wrong with me? I've been in this too deeply for too long. But really, the Cenobite's gorgeous.
yeah, and Jamie Clayton slayed. I was so happy. I was like, fuck yes, about damn time.
Yes, yeah. I was
So-
at the Fantastic Fest secret screening for that, and Jamie is every bit the goddess you would hope. Just like 7 feet tall and the most arresting looking person ever, and that voice. Anyway, I could
Love
fangirl
it.
all day.
So let's talk Meat Kids.
They're so
Yes.
scary. Listen, they're so scary. When we first got shots, we got like sent pictures of the kids trying them on for the first time. And I was like, get that away from me. Absolutely not. That's cursed. That's no, I hate that very much.
Before Chuck
and
E. Cheese.
truly, yeah, just like an awful Showtime pizza nightmare. It truly, because I remember reading that in the script and being like, oh hell yeah, that's gonna be so scary. And then I saw it and I was like, no.
Yeah, I just want to point out that Maggie texted me a photo of my own severed head right before we started shooting. And I was watching like a cute Pixar movie with my friend, and she was like crying. She was like, get that away from me. And I was like, okay, this is what she's gonna be like. Cool.
That's amazing.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah, it's a real interesting experience holding a prop version of your severed head with glossy over dead eyes. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
You
weird that-
specifically
I know-
playing the drums, like watching the like leg meat move.
Oh my
Fuck
god.
off. No. Mm-mm. No.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, everyone had to kind of learn how to operate a whole body in front of their own body, which is pretty weird. You guys are in there under your own faces, which it was a weird thing in person. I'm very happy with how it turned out. Yeah, I can't wait until we're allowed to post real spoilery pics, because I have some really precious photos of you all with your own body parts in hand.
I wish I had gotten to see that part live. That was the reveal when we saw the final version.
That's the
But I
only
really-
thing that
really
we
wish I'd gotten
I
to
would
see it.
say we like overshot. Like we had more time allotted for it than we needed, so we just started rolling. Like that's why there's so many weird. We put the fisheye lens on it. We ran up to you guys, and then but it did take a little time to figure out like how to move, what parts of the body to move around. And my favorite bit is there's a shot where Jesse, you had kind of flopped to one side, and I was sort of like decrepit, I'm the little teapot, and then sort of jerk upward, and your head kind of bounced. It was great.
Tried it all. Really, I was like, I'm up here. Let's do all the things.
Yep.
I love that y'all were committed.
This is not a meat kid, but I do feel like it's a silly thing. I accidentally dialed my 5-year-old nephew on video chat. He picked up my sister-in-law's phone while I had my mask on, and I forgot that you can see people while it's ringing. So I was like, I had it because Verona asked me a question, and I had it pointed at me, and then I turned it up, and he answered, and for 30 seconds he was like, "Auntie B, I already saw you," and I was like, "No," and I couldn't figure out what he meant for a week. He kept claiming that he had already seen it and it wasn't that scary, and I was like, "There's no how did you see me? I had it pointed up." It's because it was ringing. So he absolutely saw me looking like a full tilt nightmare, and I'm mortified forever. And he didn't freak out. I suspect that he is more scared than he's letting on. But I think because I had warned him the day before, I can't video chat with you because I will look very scary. I play a monster in a movie. He was like, okay. So I think he knew kind of we got it. But I
That's
do
my
think
zombie
he was more
aunt.
scared. Yeah.
I love that. So to wrap up though, what I'd love to know is what, and I'll start with Jesse, just your favorite moment on set.
Gosh, my favorite moment, honestly, getting to work with everyone every day was just a blast. There was one day where Patrick kept handing my severed head to me, and I don't know if it was my favorite, but it was memorable. Yeah,
That's fair.
What I'll say.
Keanush, how about yourself?
That's a hard question. I mean, it was all just such a great time. I don't know. I just loved all those band sequences and all the in that intro CKY inspired
yes,
video, just all those moments were so fun because it was off the cuff. It was a lot of improv, and we had this one scene. I think it was the first thing we shot, which was this nasty smoothie concoction we were making, and we just had SpaghettiOs and Oreos and all this stuff, and it just got so messy and stinky in there. And that was just
eat some of it.
Yeah, no, Jackson actually ate them. But that just set the tone for the rest of the week, and I was like, this is gonna be so fun.
Awesome. How about yourself, Verona?
1000% getting to be in this awesome girl band and shooting a music video without having to have any significant amount of songwriting talent, singing ability, not having to play well, even though we could play the song. It was so cool. We got to wear the rock star outfit and be we had immediate chemistry just as this fake band. Tybee and I are already friends, but Kel and Amina just fit so well. The camaraderie of the whole thing was so good, and it was just so fun, and we just kept doing it over and over again, and it was this it was like being at rock camp, you just got to live out this rock star fantasy. And then I would say this probably a close second is literally just pulling up and parking every day and having everybody in costume walking around. It was like a time machine. I got out of my car into the 90s.
That is so cool.
It was so wild. Even some of the crew were dressed 90s, and I don't know if it's because in case they were going to be on set, or they were feeling the spirit, or that's how the kids
I asked. She just dresses like that. The one girl that I'm thinking of with the little peace sign thing.
I love
it. Just what she wears.
So I was like, look, we're back. This is so fun.
Tybee, how about yourself?
Oh man, the whole first day that we did the music video was unbelievable. It was so much fun. We did do it enough times that we were starting to interact with each other the way the band really might, and it was genuinely a blast. I think. Oh, I just had my second one for at the very end of the day where we were in prosthetics. I was there. Amina and I were there the latest, because the last thing that she and I shot was the assembly of Jesse's character. And I was, like delirious at that point. And there was a moment where just the two of us were like fucking around with our phones and taking stupid videos. So there is a video of me tap dancing in the whole boot get up that I'm excited to put out. And somewhere Amina has a video of her doing like a fake like rap guy, like cool thing in her
Oh my God.
that I hope to God she posts, because I was like I had to take my mask off because I was like fully crying and like snorting laughing. We had just lost it. We'd just been there and I was also doing this in a spare Ankur hoodie because it got cold down there. So I was like in my little hoodie, like rolling around, just giggling to the max with Amina, and it was wonderful.
Hearing that about Amina now makes me think of, if any of you remember this film, Teen Witch, and that song Top That. Yeah. That's what I love it.
Yes, correct. Yes, it's good.
That's so amazing. And Maggie, how about yourself? What was your favorite moment?
Oh, I mean, everything. It was the most like joyful 90s playground, watching everybody come out of wardrobe in these incredible time warp outfits was amazing. And then, but then just seeing everybody's chemistry together, I had too many moments to list. I think it was getting to play in all of these different spaces that are beloved and close to me, and watching everybody's extraordinary commitment, cast and crew alike. The authenticity was really important, and it really felt like everyone dove headfirst in on a unified vision that is very much, a love letter to the elder millennial. And whether people like seeing themselves reflected this way or not, I enjoyed self-roasting in this way very much in the horror playground that is VHS. Yeah.
I mean, I had a blast. I can't wait. I'm sure I would be so furious if Shudder didn't release a physical media to where, either commentary or, other features, but it truly was. It was so much fun. And again, I think each segment worked, but my favorite thing again, and it was just that simple little line, but I screamed and I said, work. When I heard Valentine Fox, I just lost it. I looked at the person next to me and they're like, what? I go, oh, I was like, you gotta go. No. I was like, you got to go watch a movie. We'll talk when. I was like, no, but I did.
It's a completely anachronistic name drop, but you know what? If we're gonna list off a bunch of bands that played at a venue in any movie, I don't care if the movie's set in the 1950s. I'm gonna cite my own fake pop stars.
Well, there's another Maggie Levin production Easter egg in the film, which is the flask. Is a Rocky Horror hipster show flask that we're like passing around. There's like a couple shots of Kelly with it. It's the show that we used to do. I just like brought it with redacted liquid in it, and so that was
there's also some
Maggie.
There's a Hail Ratma on this in the bitchcat rehearsal in the interview space that you and Amina are in. It's probably too tiny and too fuzzed out to see. But also the setup that we did with the sleeping bag and everything when Keanush and Jackson were first going into the Colony Underground, that is meant very much to emulate Storm Drain, because I'm such a huge fan of that segment. And then also, we threw Veggie Masher in there. There's some big 94.
Oh my God, that was so good.
Thank you.
And I do love hearing you praise Storm Drain, because I love Chloe Okuno. And I mean, she also had Watcher. There's a good psychological thriller. Actually, let me put it this way. Women in horror are really succeeding this year. And it makes me so happy, because it's been long needed, whether it's in front of the camera or behind the camera. We're seeing so much come out, and so much, like, people are like, damn. And so it just makes me happy.
Heck yeah.
But I just want to say thank you so much to each and every one of you taking time out on the weekend to sit and just nerd out with me about shredding, because again, I loved it. It was so much fun, and it's, as always, it's just a pleasure to just get to speak with you all because you guys did great.
This was wonderful. Thank you so much.
This was so fun.
And thank you again to all of my cast. I just couldn't be more grateful. And seeing the world respond to your work has been the joy of a lifetime. It's the best part.
Oh,
besides
people
the
went
making it.
crazy. People, like I said, audiences were having a grand old time. And yeah, I will have that song on repeat. It's gonna actually go in my anxiety playlist, which is a lot of either My Valentine and some other pop artists that you might see behind me. But I have like a whole mix, and this is now going to go in that because now when I at work in my normal job, I'll have that like that whole thing on repeat, so I'll focus and I'll just be in a state. Because I think, Maggie, you laughed when I was like, yeah, My Valentine, like that got me through. I was, and you're like, what? Really did.
I love that's I mean, that's
horror
why we
for
do
me.
these things, right? Like, and that's movies for me as well. You know, a lot, the movies that I want to make people's favorite movies. I want to make the movies that you feel like when you put them on, you're visiting an old friend or like their family to you. You know, and it's weird to be like, yeah, I want to dismember children on screen and I want it to be your comfort movie. But
I mean,
it's true.
You know, well, I will say though, and at least VHS 99, some of them deserved it. Ankur did not, but it had to happen. But some of them, like,
Sorry, Ankur.
y'all deserved it.
Poor baby.
So, and and then again, we now already saw the list for VHS 85, which I just have to say is also an insane freaking list. It's just packed with amazing talent. And I always shout out Gigi because she's like a fireball, and yeah.
She's the best. And you'll be seeing there will be a recurring cast member from Shredding will appear in 85. I'm not saying who and I'm not saying where, but like, you know, I'm sure
that
you
makes
could
me happy.
do a very tiny amount of internet research and probably figure it out.
Well, I'll probably be listed on IMDb Pro. I'll just go log in. But no, again, thank you so much. I really hope the best for you all. And again, this truly is, it's just an honor. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You have been listening to the Horror Hour. See you next time.